You're listening to the best of the Morning X, dropping back into the interview from a few moments ago. This is the original 99X.
We're talking to Michael Moore. How did you get OJ to be on the show? You just called him personally?
I called him up.
You called him up?
And he went for it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling that he would probably do it, and the fact is that nobody had ever asked him because he's so hated and despised. But, my attitude, and I said this to him, I said, for 3 years I've been listening to Geraldo and everybody else blab on about this, and I'm the kind of person who always wants to hear the other side. Regardless whether I agree with it or not, I want to hear the other side, and I've not heard it out of your mouth what really happened.
I'd have him on our show if he would come on.
You'd have him on, wouldn't you?
In a minute.
In a second, yeah.
And you'd ask him the questions.
The same ones that I've heard him answer, but I want to ask him.
Well, the reality is, and people have told us, and we've said this on the radio before, and people say, how could you have this guy on? He's a murderer. The reality is he's the central figure in the most high-profile crime story of the century.
Right. Why would you
not want to have that on? I mean, that's, as a broadcaster.
It's just, it was... I didn't understand that. I know people said that. Why would you do it? Well, I said, geez, I mean, if if I'd sent investigators down to South America and found out that Hitler was still alive, would I go, oh, I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, Leslie, you'd want him on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
I'd put a camera right in the guy's face and say, hey, I got a couple questions here.
Why didn't Fox, or why didn't they want to show that the OJ thing? Why are they so protective over it?
That seems like right up their alley.
Actually, Fox wasn't the problem. Fox did want to show it. In fact, Fox really wanted to exploit it, tonight, when Heisman Trophy winners attack,
When running backs attack.
It was more the studio who owns the show, Columbia TriStar Television, that was very nervous about it and was actually kind of upset at me that I had put him on the show. When I first met with the executives to plan out the show, they were like kind of challenging me. Well, who are you going to get on this show? And as a lark, I just said Mother Teresa and OJ. I think would be a good combo on the couch. And then, like a week later, Mother Teresa died. So I figured, okay, well, I got to go get OJ and just prove to them I can get anybody to come on the show.
And they just
I did just call him up, and he was watching Selena with his kids when I called him.
Selena?
The movie, about the murdered...
Yeah, I know.
It's a little too eerie for me. And I see they're in the ratings business. I just don't understand why they would...
Yeah, I know. And I'll tell you, I was really tough on him. And even though, I have all these questions, and I do believe there's this outside chance that he didn't do it. I mean, I don't really completely believe that he's innocent.
After you grilled him, was he friendly to you after the show?
Yeah, he appreciated the chance to explain his position, and he did it with such directness and such calmness that if he did commit the murders, he is so f***ing psychopath at this point that he could pass a lie detector test.
Right, he's convinced himself.
He's convinced himself totally that he had nothing to do with it. Or he's had this horrible fate visited upon him. And what I said to him afterwards, I said, when I said that, I said, you were at the crime scene. And I said, why, let's say you didn't commit the murders. Why can't you just say, look, I went over there to stalk her because I like stalking her. I'm a son of a bitch, and I'm parked across the street, and suddenly the dog comes over, and the dog is blood-soaked, and it recognizes the Bronco, puts its paws up on the car. I get out. I see the dog all soaked in blood. The dog runs across the street to the bodies. And suddenly, at that moment, you're looking down at two dead white people, and no matter how hard you've tried to be white yourself, you are a black man in the United States of America, and you know it at that moment because there are two dead white people there, and one of them you used to beat.
Right. Doesn't
and
look
at that
good.
moment, you get the hell out of Dodge.
Huh.
But you've contaminated the crime scene. Those are your footprints. You were there.
I've never thought about it that way. Nice scenario.
Well, he was like really jumpy. It was like it was the only time he came unglued when I presented this theory to him.
And what did he say?
Or I said, or maybe you witnessed it. Maybe either you know who did it, you stumbled upon the crime, you're covering up for somebody, or you hired it done. But it's not the way the police told us. I do not believe you, a 50-year-old man with your arthritic knees, leapt over fences and walls, fought two healthy people in their late 20s, and had no witnesses to this crime on a busy Sunday night on a busy street in L.A.
We'll never know.
You know what? I think we will know at some point.
Someday?
I think we will too. Yeah.
I really believe that.
Michael, what is your next project?
We just signed a deal with British Television. They're going to finance 16 new episodes of TV Nation. So we'll be back on the air with that later this year, probably under a different name. Legally, I don't think we can use TV Nation, but so I've got that coming out, and we wrote a book called Adventures in the TV Nation, my wife and I. That's coming out this summer, and a few other projects.
I know I can speak for Jimmy. We both really enjoyed the movie, The Big One.
Oh, I really appreciate you going to see it, and it's great to hear that that kind of crowd response there in Atlanta. It's at the Tara, right?
It was at the Tara, yeah.
Tara, yeah.
How about you knowing what theater it's even at?
Very good.
Man, Michael Moore, he's also got a book out, Downsize This. Thank you very much, sir.
No, thank you very much, and I've always enjoyed the time I've spent down there because, well, my old buddy Newt.
That's right.
Neighborhood.
Newt was on last week. We'll tell him you said hi.
Okay, do that.
Michael Moore on the Morning X.
You're on the best of the Morning X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy.
99X.
The Inside of You podcast.
You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Our guest today, William H. Macy.
A lot of my career has been making unsavory characters kind of appealing.
Allison Mack is here.
There was this complete decomposition of my identity and this moment of who am I?
Let's get inside of Ron Perlman. Do you still love acting?
I'm obsessed with getting better at it. My heroes are in a state of flow, just this moment of humanity.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.